Good evening, everyone. My name is Abby Pritchard, and I am one of the admissions counselors here at Boise State University. I want to first welcome each and every one of you to tonight's Next Steps Housing presentation. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Living on campus is the best way to get the full Boise State experience, and tonight you will get to explore campus residence hall options, learn a bit more about our Living Learning program, and become prepared for our housing application process that is quickly approaching. Towards the end of our time together, you will also be able to participate in a Q&A session with our housing and residence life staff, as well as two of our current Boise State students to get the full scoop on anything housing related. Throughout tonight's session, you can leave any of your questions you want answered during that Q&A in the chat below. So be sure, as those questions come up, to leave them in the chat, and we will be sure to answer them again towards the end of our session tonight. But before I pass it off to our Housing and Residence Life office, I first want to chat a little bit about our intent to enroll and meal plans at Boise State. So starting first with the intent to enroll, this is basically that form that says, I plan on coming to Boise State. When you complete the intent to enroll, there's also a $100 enrollment fee that you will pay when you complete the intent to enroll form. But the intent to enroll reserves your spot in our incoming freshman class. And it is also super important because it allows you to do two things. First of all, it allows you to have access to that housing application process, as well as the sign up for our new student orientation. Both of these processes are going to start up on March 15th, which is only a week away. So it's super, super important to make sure you have your intent to enroll completed prior to being able to access, again, the housing application process and the registration for our new student orientation. Moving on to meal plans at Boise State. Here at Boise State, if you are going to live in one of our first year residence halls on campus, you will need to purchase a meal plan. You will automatically be opted into our Trailblazer meal plan, which is kind of that perfect middle option. But if you hop onto our Boise State website, you can see all the meal plan options that are available for you and find that one that will be a good fit for you. But what's great about these meal plans is that they include your meals per week, which you can use at our two different dining halls on campus, Buster's Kitchen and South Fork. And then you'll also get a number of dining dollars that you can use throughout the semester, which are great for some of these on-campus restaurants like we show here, including Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, and Panda Express. And so utilizing those meal plans makes it very easy when you're living on campus to enjoy those meals day to day. But with that, I'm going to pass it off to JT with Housing to start talking about your different options as a student for residence halls.
Hi, friends. We're going to go through a lot of different options. So just know that even if you don't remember all the different room types and different communities that are available to you right now, all of this information is available on our website, and we welcome you to go check it out there. I'm going to show you a bunch of really cool 3D renderings of some of our buildings. And as we go through some of these residence hall options, just know that if you're like, hey, I was interested in that one, all of that information is available at our website with a lot of these really cool up-close looks at some of the apartments and different residence hall options. So getting into it, just want to point out on this map, you'll notice that there's a lot of different spaces around campus on here. The blue buildings are the academic buildings, but focusing on the orange buildings, those are all the different residence halls. Tonight, we're going to talk about them and some of the different options that we have for you. Each of these communities comes with different amenities, and we want to make sure that we have something for everybody. Those of you who are like super good at paying attention, you'll notice some pink buildings. Those are the apartments, and we're not going to get into those specifically today, but interested in living in apartments year round, that's another option too, and we'll talk about that after your first year of living on campus. First up, we want to talk about Chafee Hall, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is for those of you who are like parents and friends of the family of students coming to Boise State who've maybe been to college already. This one will be the one that probably seems the most familiar, just in terms of like that traditional college experience. JP A and B wing is where we have that traditional dorm style room where you share a room with someone else. And then if you need to go to the bathroom or reduce laundry, like you're going to leave your room and head down the hall. Whereas D wing, you share the room with one other person and there's another room on the other side of the bathroom and you kind of share the space. It's what we call Jack and Jill style suite. A little bit different options. If you're wondering where C wing is, that's because that's where my office is and the rest of the housing office is. That's why you don't see C wing as an option. But if you want to come by and visit us anytime, we're happy to talk to you Monday through Friday. Next up, we have options like Towers Hall, which is located on the west side of campus and is a really great option for students who like building community. Every year we hear from students how great it is because of common space. If you notice, the room is kind of weirdly shaped, and it's because it surrounds a central sort of circular common area, and there are 6 rooms that kind of feed into this common area, and 2 common areas on each floor. So a lot of people are able to have their own space where they share a room with 3 other people, but then they can leave and go out into the common space and enjoy meeting a bunch of wonderful new people and all of their new friends. Gets a lot of great reviews in terms of building community. Next up, we have Driscoll and Morrison Hall. These are some of our oldest buildings on campus, and they have a really cool style to them. A lot of the stuff, like the furniture and cabinetry, is all built into the room. And if you happen to decide later that you want to join the engineering and innovation learning community, you'll be located in Morrison Hall. It's a really good opportunity for you to meet students because you'll live in suites of about 8 students. Some of them being double rooms where you share it with another person, some of them being singles where you get the room to yourself, but all of them having a really good central hangout spot for each of the suites, and then a lot of really cool space that gets used in a really unique way. They're just really unique buildings and have a lot to offer to students who live there. Another popular option is Kaiser and Taylor Hall. These were built more recent than Driscoll and Morrison, and offer that similar sort of either 4 or 8 person style suite. And as you can see from the 3D renderings here, you can have a bunch of different layouts. Not every suite looks the exact same and comes with some really cool options for layout. And you're going to probably need to talk to your roommates about the stuff you're bringing. Make sure you talk to them before all of you decide to bring your 8-foot area rugs. It helps with coordination. These are really good styles for students who want to be able to potentially have their own space because there are double and single rooms in the space. But still get to have a sense of community with the common area in each suite, similar to Morrison and Driscoll. A lot of our living learning communities are located here. As you can see on our screen, there's a few different options. And understandably, don't worry if you're not going to be part of the living learning communities. There's still space in these for them. But if you are, these are some really great communities for that. And they offer a lot of opportunities for students to get out and enjoy what we have to offer here at Boise State. University Square is a unique option for students because it's one of the few options available to first-year students that has laundry and a full kitchen and living room in the suite. This, along with University Suites, are some of those options. University Square has a single bedroom and a double bedroom, meaning 2 people will share a room and 1 person will have their own room. And they come with different price points. But if you get the double room, get excited because that's like a master closet. It's a really big closet. Like, I'm a really big guy and I could lay down in the closet and probably make it a 3rd bedroom. I won't, but it's a really great option for students who just like to have some privacy and get a full kitchen and living room in their suite. Suites was built around the same time and offers a similar sort of layout, but instead of 2 bedrooms, 1 being a double and single, there are 4 bedrooms, all of them single bedrooms. And there's 1 bedroom that we call the efficiency. And if you notice on this 3D rendering, it's the top left bedroom or the top right bedroom. It's the one that says washer dryer on it. We had to make room for the washer dryer in the suite, but still has the full kitchen, full living room, and offers a lot of amenities for students looking to have their own private space. Last but not least, our newest building and community, Honors College in Sawtooth Hall. This offers many different options for room types. As you can see at the top left of your screen, that rendering shows kind of a Jack and Jill style suite, like similar to Chapey D Wing. Or in other cases, there's single bedrooms, either 2 or 4 person suites. These are a really good option for everybody who's looking for some of those newer amenities and a lot of really cool things located centrally on our campus, as well as they house the Adventure Idaho community and the communication, exploration, living learning well. Just to know, if you're living in the Honors College in Sawtooth Hall, as just a heads up, they don't require that you be an honors student to live in the building, and those are two separate communities. So just if you're thinking, well, I can't live there, I'm not an honors student, it's for anybody who wants to live there. But if you're interested in getting involved in that community or any other, one of the best ways to do that is probably getting into the living learning programs. I just want to take it over to my friend Krista to talk more about that.
Great, thanks, JT. So yes, I'm here to talk a little bit about the Living Learning Program, and you might wonder what that entails, and that's a great question. So the Living Learning Program provides Boise State students a unique opportunity to live and learn with students who share similar academic interests and majors or general interests in one of our 8 living learning communities. We typically see LLP students do better academically, are more likely to return for a second year. Their four-year graduation rates are higher than our other populations at Boise State. And you can apply to be in one or more of the individual living learning communities within your housing application. And I want to clarify, you can select multiple communities you're interested in, but you can actually only live and participate in one. You do live on a specific floor in the buildings, as JT has just gone over, and the slides noted where our different communities are. But basically, in one of those 8 communities, you would live with other students, and then a professor who is in an apartment, their own apartment on the floor. And they oftentimes, all of our communities are sponsored by different colleges on campus. And so then you'll be living oftentimes with students who are in your similar college or same college, if it's a academic or major-based community. And we know that that really helps build academic success. We have a $65 fee that's involved with the community, and that helps provide programming, or highly intentional programming that directly relates to the goals of the community. And our spaces are anywhere from our smaller communities at 18 student spaces, up to our larger community that has 40 student spaces. So out of our 2,200 spaces, I think, on campus for first year students, we have about 10% of that first year student space. And so there is limited opportunity, and we're excited to show you this video to show just a little bit more about what the Living Learning Program entailed. Yay, I love that video. Always makes me happy. So we're going to chat through just the 8 different communities just very briefly. There's a lot more information on our website if you're curious to dig into this opportunity. But we have 4 major specific communities. So we have business and economics, which is located in Selway Suite, and that is for students majoring in business-related disciplines who are interested in enhancing their business skills and networking through hands-on experiences. Engineering and innovation is in Morrison Hall, and there's an initial focus on what it means to be an innovator with opportunities to tour industries where innovation takes place. Our health professions community is in Kaiser Hall, and students in that community explore careers in health professions field and team up with local health industries for real-life experiences. And then our STEM education community in Taylor Hall is connected to the College of Education, and students explore career opportunities in STEM education, and also volunteer at local schools for, again, real life experiences. You're hearing that theme that you sort of get into the mix of what it might look like in that career field or in that industry. And then we have 4 communities that are open to any major. And the first one is Adventure, Idaho, and that is located in Sawtooth Hall. And this community really dives into a variety of career paths, within the College of Arts and Sciences, providing some focus on finding a major or career fit. And they also do a lot of adventuring in the local area or even just around the state. So they're getting out and about as well. Bronco Fit is in our Kaiser Hall, and Bronco Fit is connected to our larger Bronco Fit Wellness Initiative. And so it takes a look at the 8 components of wellness and engages, provides engaging opportunities and activities to learn more about each of those 8 components. Our communication and exploration community is in Sawtooth Hall as well. And that helps students learn more about themselves and others, creating connections on campus within their community to really shape your first year experience. And then finally, our leadership and engagement community in Taylor Hall, critically explores what it means to be an everyday leader with opportunities to engage in local community service and leadership. So that's just a little bit about our 8 communities, and I'm passing it off to Callie to talk a little bit more about how to apply.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Callie Hamilton, and I'm the Associate Director for Housing Operations here. So we've talked a lot about some of the options, and I want to tell you how you can apply to be in housing here at Boise State. So first and foremost, we need you, if you're an incoming student, to complete your intent to enroll and let us know that you plan on coming to Boise State before you can apply for housing here. And then we're going to ask you to submit your housing pre-application on March 15th. So 9 a.m., we're going to have our in-state students log in, and at noon, we're going to have our out-of-state students log in to apply. You're welcome to apply after that, but we do encourage you to apply early for the best chance at getting housing. And know that we're going to be communicating with you through your Boise State email. So if I could ask anything of you tonight, it's if you're applying for housing at any point, make sure you're monitoring that Boise State email account because we will be communicating with you through that. Now, there's this pre-application, and this might be new for some of you if you've been researching a little bit. We've added a step of homework, and although that could sound like a hard thing, it really is as a benefit to you. Because part of what our process looks like is asking you to let us know that you want housing, and that order that you submit the pre-application is going to be how we rank you for housing assignments. So if you're the first person to pre-apply on March 15th, then your odds are going to be better than the person who waits until May, and it lets us know that they're interested in housing. So with that, though, we created the pre-application as a way to let students know that they wanted to come, and then also not have to rush through our primary application, because we ask you to come back later and submit that primary application and encourage you to get through that before March 24th. So get the pre-application, you get your timestamp for housing, and then you're going to come and you're going to do your primary application at your leisure, making sure that you finish it before March 24th. So monitoring your email inbox is going to be important, so that way you can get the links that you need from that pre-application, handing you off to the primary application. And then when you get to the primary application, we're going to ask you where you want to live on campus. That's going to be the point where you kind of have some time to walk through that application and make the decision on which building do I want to be a part of if I had my pick. And to be mindful that if for some reason your top pick is not available, then what's your second choice, and do some research. And in that, you're going to be able to list not only the buildings, but you can also let us know if you are interested in the living learning programs, which of those living learning communities you want to be in. So we give you up to 8 options for choosing top 1 all the way down through my 8th choice. And so you can put in not only the buildings, but the living communities, living learning programs in there in your order of preference. And then with that, we also ask you to consider how you would like to approach renter's insurance. So some folks come onto campus and they already have that covered through maybe a policy with their own homeowner's insurance or their parents. We also offer the option of working with a company called GradGuard. We don't get any benefit for mentioning them other than just letting our students know it's a resource. And so through our application process, you will be asked the question if you're interested in pursuing GradGuard. You can decline, you can research more about it, you can say, I'm interested, send me an email so that way I can kind of bypass it now, but have more time to do my research. But that is one piece of the application that we're going to ask you to fill out and kind of consider along the way. And then in that primary application, that's when you're going to be asked to pay your application fee and your down payment. Once that's done, you'll submit and review the final application and check your Boise State email for the confirmation that it all came through. In that email, we're going to have important dates for you listing the next steps, like our roommate matching, when our final assignments are going to go out. So be sure to check for that as well. So these are some dates that you'll want to be mindful of. March 15th, again, just to reiterate, that's when our first year housing pre-application opens to Idaho State residents at 9 a.m. Out-of-state residents can log in at noon. And it's going to be like a 1-minute form that you're going to fill out. It's not going to be complicated. You're just going to get that timestamp and then take a breath. You got your timestamp. Then be sure to check your email in the next day or two, because we're going to give that handoff for you then to get into our portal for our primary application. And then we ask you to just make sure that you get that done by March 24th. So, the person who does their pre-application and then comes in on March 23rd and submits their primary application is not going to be in any different place than the person who got into the application on the main application on March 20th, right? So just get that timestamp from your pre-application, take a breath, and then you've got until March 24th to finish the primary one. And then April 8th, the LLP primary consideration date. So that's where we want to know if you're interested in the living learning programs, you would submit that in your application. So applicants who have completed everything before April 8th will have opportunity to have a consideration for the living learning program, so they decide who gets admitted into those groups. April 14th is when our community assignments will be emailed. We'll tell you, hey, you got into this building, University Suites or Chafee Hall. And then May 1st, of course, is that intent to enroll deadline if you haven't already submitted that. And last day to cancel housing and receive a refund. On May 15th, we have our roommate matching process open. And so that's where we take all of the folks who have been a part of a certain community and let them go and find other people within that same living community to pair up with. So if you and your friend got assigned to Chafee Hall, then you'd be able to go and find each other through that roommate matching process. Or if you don't know a single person and you're curious to get to know folks ahead of time, then that roommate matching process will give you opportunity to go and search for other people and kind of take a look at their profiles. You also get to create one for yourself. So you get to tell us everything from I'm really messy and I'm really tidy, or I'm a morning person and I'm a night person. And you create that profile for yourself so others can find you, and then vice versa. You get an opportunity to go and see what they have as well. And so then we close that process at June 1st. And if people have paired off, then we're going to be able to use that to help give you your official room assignment, not just your community. This is a building, but this is actually the floor and the bed space and the person that you're living with. And then stay tuned. August 17th is the day that we anticipate for move-in. But I want you guys to kind of just be mindful that you can check our housing website, and we'll keep those important dates up to date for you throughout the summer. So moving on to rates and payments, a lot of students like to break up their housing payments so it doesn't come all in one lump sum at the beginning of the semester. And you can certainly pay it in one lump sum if you prefer, but a lot of folks prefer to break it up so that way it's a little bit more manageable. So recommend putting in your calendar that before July 24th, you can opt in for our payment plan. And this payment plan allows you to break the payments up into 5 different installments for each semester. And then those bills will get sent directly to your student account. And right now we have what we call our proposed rates for next year posted on our website. So you're welcome to go take a look at that. Those proposed rates may change a little bit between now and August, but they're going to get you pretty close to accurate on what to expect. So feel free to check out boisestate.edu/housing, and you can go take a look at our housing rates for the different living areas. And then last but not least, we know every situation is different. Every person has a different set of needs and questions. So feel free to reach out to our main housing office. We are located in Chafee Hall, and you're welcome to call. Of course, you can also get a hold of us via email at housing@boisestate.edu and take a look at the many resources that we have on our website. So I'm going to hand it back to Abby our admissions counselor.
Thank you so much, Callie. And before we start our Q&A session, I'm actually going to have our students who are here to introduce themselves. So we'll start out with Maddie, and then we'll have Rachel introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie. I'm a senior this year at Boise State, so I only have 7 weeks left before I graduate. I was coming from Vancouver, Washington when I came as a first-year student, and I'm kind of involved with a bunch of random things on campus, including Greek life and other student clubs and organizations. And my major is business administration with minors in marketing and entrepreneurship.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm a sophomore at Boise State. My major is business administration. I'm originally from south of Seattle. I'm a part of Greek life here on campus, as well as the Honors College. But that's a little bit about me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maddie and Rachel. I'll now invite the rest of the folks joining us here on the panel today from Housing and Residence Life to turn their cameras back on, and we will just start diving right on into our Q&A session. The first question that we have today is going to actually go to Callie, and that question is, to confirm the pre-application is to just state that we want to live on campus, and the primary is to specify where, and then also how long does the pre-application take?
Yeah, so the pre-application should just take you a minute or two at most. It's really simple. You're basically just trying to let us know, hey, I would love to live on campus. Submit, and that's about it. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to answer a lot of questions. You just go in, let us know you want to be here, and you get your timestamp that puts you in order for housing. And so from there, you're going to get an email in the next day or two letting you know, hey, head on into our housing portal. You've got until March 24th to complete your primary application. And the primary application is where we get into the details. So that's where we ask you to come and tell us where you want to live, tell us about the room styles you're interested in, tell us your emergency contact. That's where we get a lot of the info from you. But we want to give you just a second to breathe and do it a little bit more leisurely all the way up through March 24th. So those are the details there, but feel free to ask any more questions if you have any related to that.
Thank you, Callie. And the next question is going to go to JT. If you're in the suite with a kitchen, do you still have to purchase a meal plan?
Yeah, only because we really, really want you to actually take care of yourself. If there's for whatever reason, there's a need through dining services to chat with them about the opportunity to provide your own meals. I think for the most part, though, everybody is required to have a meal plan because, let's be honest, some people say they're going to adult and then they don't. And we just really want to make sure that your mom doesn't call me later asking why you lost 20 pounds because you only ate ramen. So yes, you do have to have a meal plan.
Awesome. Yes, we don't want anyone to starve. And the next question will go to Kristen. Are there any communities for artistic students? And if maybe not specifically artistic students, is there a living learning community that you would recommend for someone who's artistic?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I would say that there is not a specific LLC related to art or creativity explicitly in that kind of traditional sense, but there's so many where that would be wildly accepted, and opportunities to explore your own art and creativity in any of the communities. So I would say, knowing that our art-based majors come out of the College of Arts and Sciences. The two communities that are sponsored by College of Arts and Sciences is the two that are in Sawtooth Hall, so Adventure, Idaho, and then Communication and Exploration. So those may be ones that you particularly would find some other folks who are in that same, it could be in the same majors, but really any of those that are the non-major specific, you're going to have a mix of majors to get to know. So, and we do a variety show every year. We just had ours about 2 weeks ago. And so we get to see a lot of performance art, I guess, in that situation, singing, guitar playing. We had a band come up, shadow puppets, which was a different one for us this year, but it was great. Called a variety show. It is definitely a lot of variety. Thanks, Abby.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. That sounds super cool. I'd like to go someday. The next question I'm going to pass off to myself, which is, how do I know what my Boise State email address is? And so if you haven't already done so, I'd say that you should definitely set up your My Boise State account. This is going to be your student account. That is basically your one-stop shop, especially once you're a Boise State Bronco and finding everything you need from your fall schedule to buying your fall 23 textbooks, to Canvas, which is where you'll take your classes from your professors. But through that My Boise State student account, that's actually where you can access your Boise State email address or your Bronco Mail email account. And if you have any questions about setting up that My Boise State account, if you haven't already done so already, definitely reach out to your admissions counselor. Like myself, we have a team and we split up the United States into territories. And so based on your location, you have an admissions counselor who's specific to you, who would be more than happy to get you that information to help you set up that account and access your Bronco Mail email address. But with that, I'm going to pass it back off to JT with another question. Are freshmen guaranteed housing? And if not, typically, when does it fill up?
That is a great question. So technically speaking, no, I can't guarantee housing for every freshman, mostly because I have about, Kristen pointed out, we have like 2,200 beds for students, and I have about 3,000 to 4,000 students every year who get admitted as first year students. I'm trying to build new buildings. Like I promise we're trying to get there. But as for right now, no, I can't guarantee housing. So then what are the odds of getting housing, or how many people get housing? Yeah, like Callie said, the people who apply first and do the pre-application the soonest are going to have a better chance of getting housing. Everyone else who doesn't get housing immediately is going to be waitlisted, and will, as you know, we get cancellations throughout the summer, or people decide that they found a different option off campus or whatever the thing is, we move people off the wait list into on-campus housing. So once again, your best bet is going to be to do the pre-application early, and then take your time doing the application, let us know what you want, and we'll go through the process from there. I would like to say like, oh, if you apply by this date, you're guaranteed, but honestly, the date changes just based on people's excitement to get into on-campus housing. So we appreciate that. Thank you so much. And we try to make it worth your while, but just applying early and doing the pre-application early is going to be your best bet to get in.
Awesome. Thank you, JT. Next question I'm going to pass over to Callie. And the question is, where do you get the link to complete the pre-application?
Yeah, so we actually have the link ready to go on our website right now. So if you go to boisestate.edu/housing, you can take a look at the bright orange button that greets you when you land on that first page that says apply for first year housing. So you can go ahead and find where that link is tonight after we're done with the webinar. Right now, you're going to try and click on it, and it probably won't take you very far because we don't have everything live until the 15th, but feel free to familiarize yourself with where that's located now. And then from there, just know that after you've done the pre-application, you're going to get the handoff to the formal application via your Boise State email.
Thank you, Callie. The next one, we're going to get the students involved. I'm going to pass this one to Maddie. Is housing co-ed?
That's a good question. Yes, it is co-ed. So all the floors are kind of mixed genders and stuff like that. But for like my living situation, I shared a room with someone, and we shared like a Jack and Jill style bathroom with 2 other girls. So everyone I shared a bathroom with was my specific gender. So the people you share a bathroom with will be your specific gender unless you state otherwise. But all the floors are co-ed.
Thank you, Maddie. And Rachel, don't worry, we're not going to leave you out. The next question is going to go to you. But the question is there a generic list of what to bring to college to furnish your dorm? Like, do I need to bring a fridge? What else do I need to bring? What can you kind of expect to see already furnished in those residence halls?
Yes, so your dorm will come furnished. So you'll have a bed, you'll have a desk, place to do your homework, which is great. You can bring a fridge if you would like. I definitely did bring one. I kept a little mini fridge out in our kitchen unit, but by any means, you don't have to. Kind of with that meal plan, living on campus, you'll have access to all of those meals, which are all relatively close to campus. A couple other kind of random things that I would bring. Obviously, you're going to want to decorate your dorm. So any kind of wall decor that you might want to do to kind of personalize your room. Maybe a fun rug. I also brought a fan, which was kind of a lifesaver because I'm a hot sleeper. So that was really nice. And also anything to kind of maximize storage. So I had a foldable shoe rack in my closet, which was really nice, and just a couple other storage things for clothes and things like that.
Thank you, Rachel. I'm going to take on our next question, which is, can the parent complete the pre-application or does the student have to do it? And our answer to that is we'll have the student complete the pre-application because you'll actually need to log in with your My Boise State login information. So the students will probably have an easier time hopping onto that. But next question will go to JT. And this one is all about roommate matching. So how does that work? And what if I already have a roommate in mind? And what if we all get the same residence hall? Can you talk us through that?
Totally. So roommate matching is going to come much later. So many of you are going to start the pre-application and then later do the primary application. And you're going to say, but I didn't get to tell you who I want to live with. I'll say, we'll do that later. Long story short, our process is we tell you which community you got into. And then once you've been assigned to a specific community, say, for example, you get into Towers, you'll get to see through roommate matching everybody else who got into Towers. And then from there, you'll pick your new best friend. But let's say you come into this whole process saying, nope, I already know who I want to live with. It's my best friend for life. And before you even start the application, you know who you want to live with. Great. First thing I'm going to tell you is, okay, you both have all of your stuff together so that you guys can apply early. Because if one of you applies right, does the pre-application right at, your opening time on the 15th, and the other one was like, I'll wait a little bit, they may not necessarily get into the same community. However, right, if you both apply at the same time and get your stuff together, then getting in the same community means to just pick each other when you do roommate matching. Now, let's say for whatever reason you don't end up in the same community and you want to be able to make it happen anyways, you can email our office and let us know, and we'll try to do it as much as we can. But honestly, sometimes it's tough to move people around if you wait too long. So if you're that friend who is really on top of things and like a go-getter and is going to be right there as soon as it opens up, and your friend's the person who likes to sleep in until 4 p.m., like maybe that day just tell them to get their stuff in order, right? But yes, roommate matching will be a whole separate process, and we'll send you information about it, but don't get too excited during the application. We'll handle that later.
Thank you, JT. The next one is going to go to Kristen. And this question is, what makes the Living Learning Program so different? Why should I consider an LLC?
Sure, another great question. So one of the major differences, I would say two actual major differences, is that you are in a specific wing of a hall or floor of a building. For example, our health professions community takes over the entire third floor of Kaiser. And so there's everyone on that floor is interested in doing that and being part of that engaged community. And so there is then that faculty member who lives in the apartment. So you have access to a faculty member pretty much any time. So you're seeing them. A lot of times they've brought in their family with them as well. I say brought in, but they've moved onto campus with their spouse and maybe kiddos or pets or pets, I should say. And they teach, that's one thing I probably skipped over earlier, was they teach a 1-credit class on Tuesday night. So each of our communities has a 1-credit class associated with it. And so one night a week, one afternoon a week, you are meeting together with that group on your floor. And that just doesn't happen across our other communities. There may be floor meetings once or twice a semester, but just being able to have that community come together on a regular basis makes a huge difference. And so you get to know the folks in your community really, really fast. The other thing is with that $65 per semester fee, I mentioned that we do different activities, different adventures, and a number of our communities go whitewater rafting, for example, or maybe float the river, or go hiking up Table Rock, or any of those types of things. Any of the activities that we do for the LLC, that $65 fee covers. We spend more than $65 on these programs. And so the schools that help sponsor each of those communities are providing additional funding that allows us to do all of that different activity. And so you're just getting a higher level of opportunities to connect with your peers, to connect with a faculty member in and outside of the classroom. And so there's more engagement that happens that you feel really connected very quickly. So what we hear regularly from students who are exiting the program or even graduating, because we stay in touch with you up through graduation a little bit, is that it was really where they made their friends very quickly and got to know a faculty member and how to approach a faculty member and work with a faculty member and explore different career-related opportunities to even figure out maybe what you're not interested in doing, right? That can be as helpful to you as you're moving through your career, your experience at Boise State, as it is to know exactly what you want to be doing when you're still kind of figuring those pieces out. So there's lots of reasons why, but that's just a few of them.
That sounds great. Thank you, Kristen. The next question is, do we offer tours of the residence halls? And I will go ahead and take on this question. And the answer is, unfortunately, in order to honor not only the privacy and also the security of our students, and ensure that we can house as many students as possible, we currently do not have options to tour the residence halls on campus. However, we do encourage you to definitely check out our housing website because we have lots of different photos of our floor plans of all of our residence halls, as well as some photos and video tours for certain options. And so definitely kind of exploring the housing website, I think you'll be able to get a good idea of those residence halls that you're interested in. But moving on to the next question for JT, are there gender inclusive housing options?
I love this question. This is so good. Okay, so yes, we do offer gender inclusive housing. And for those of you who are like, what is that? Gender inclusive housing is just you can live with somebody who isn't the same gender as you, right? So if your best friend is a boy and you're a girl, we want to be able to offer you a chance to live with them. If you just want to be able to live with somebody and it doesn't matter what their gender are, then you can totally do that, and we offer that as an option. So we've done this in the past, and we were the first school in Idaho to provide this, and so we were really excited to get this started. So just in your application, there'll be a question just says, hey, are you interested in gender inclusive housing? And if so, you go ahead and mark yes. If not, it's fine. You're just going to get assigned to the halls as is. You don't have to do it, but if you want to opt into it, it's something that we provide for students. There's a lot of different benefits to it, but one of the best things about it is just being able to be like, hey, anybody can live with anybody if they want to, and we're not going to necessarily make them, but we provide options for them. And the demand for gender inclusive housing changes year to year, but we try to make sure that we offer everybody the chance. And so if you say yes to it on the application, we'll do our best to make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you, JT. The next question is going to be for Callie. And the question is, what is the application fee / down payment? When do we pay those? On March 15th or on March 24th?
Yep. So the application fee and down payment, that comes with the primary application. So when you submit the pre-application, there's no payments or fees that are associated with that. It's just the quick couple-minute form that you submit to get your timestamp. And then that means that if you're doing the pre-application early, you get handed over to our application and you've got until March 24th to submit that. So as long as you get that application in by March 24th at 5 p.m., you should be good. That's where we ask you to pay a $50 non-refundable application fee and a $100 down payment. And if you are assigned a space in housing, then that down payment is going to go towards your housing cost. You'll get a $100 adjustment on your student account for that since you already prepaid that $100. And then for students who might not get assigned housing, then you would get that refunded to you, the $100 down payment.
Thank you, Callie. The next question is going to go to Maddie. And this question is, are there quiet hours in the residence halls?
So for quiet hours in the residence halls, I believe it's like 10 p.m. till 8 a.m. Okay, I'm getting head nods. Okay, yeah. So this is just means that's what it was in my freshman year. I didn't know if it had changed or anything, but this just means that just to keep your noise level down in the halls, just so people can like do homework and go to sleep and stuff like that, since everyone has different schedules. So there's no specific like curfew, like you're not, supposed to be in your dorm at any time. It's just keeping the noise level down between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m.
Awesome. Thank you, Maddie. Everyone wants their beauty sleep, right? The next question is going to go over to Rachel. And this question is, are students able to receive packages to their dorm?
Yes, you are able to receive packages to your dorms. I'm very guilty of ordering several Amazon packages per week. So you are able to do so. Typically, you'll just like go down to the front desk and scan your Bronco ID, and you'll be able to pick up your package.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rachel. The next question is going to be for Kristen. And this question is, are LLCs just for first-year students, or can I join later in my academic career?
Another great question. I love these questions. Yes, actually, the LLCs are for first-year students. And so there is not an opportunity to participate as a sophomore and above incoming student or as a new student in that realm. We do have student leaders on the floor that, in addition to the resident assistants that are in every community, called the community assistants. And so there are some opportunities then for sophomores to be involved, but in terms of the program, it is geared for first-year students, very focused on helping students transition into college and be successful here. So yeah, let's say get that opportunity as it's available.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristen. Our next question is going to go back to Callie. Is renter's insurance required?
Not required, but we do highly recommend it. So like I said, when we have our application, students are given the option if they'd like to pursue the Grad Guard insurance that's prompted in the application. Otherwise, you're welcome to decline that when you go through if you choose to self-insure or use a different program.
Perfect. Thank you so much. The next question I'm going to pass over to JT. How many days earlier do honors students move in?
So usually honors students, for those of you who don't know, if you're part of the honors college program, they do an early arrival move-in, usually a day or two ahead of everybody else. Currently right now, like move-in day for the halls is like tentatively set for mid-August. And so we'll have more information as we get closer to move-in day. But yes, honors college students, it's usually 24 to 48 hours before everybody else. And it's because you all have fun activities that are going on prior to school starting, which I feel left out because you guys have never invited me. So that's cool. If you guys get to go through that, I'm excited for you. And we'll be happy to see you when you guys decide to show up early in a few days.
Thank you, JT. The next question I'm going to take on, but it's just going over that intent to enroll process again for you all. Basically, again, that intent to enroll is a form that says you plan on coming to Boise State. It reserves your spot in our incoming freshman class. And to access that intent to enroll, you've probably gotten a few emails from us with some of your next steps items where you can access it there, as well as in that application portal, you can find your intent to enroll, kind of right along lines of those next steps items on that page. Or if you still kind of continue having trouble finding it, a quick Google search, Boise State intent to enroll, will bring you right to the page with not only tons of information about the intent to enroll and that deadline, but also the link to log into your account to complete that. But the intent to enroll, again, you'll use your Boise State credentials, so your username and the password that you created when setting up that Boise State account to log in. You'll choose the option that you want to enroll at Boise State. And then after that, you'll be asked to pay a $100 fee, which is your enrollment fee. Again, the intent to enroll is not due until May 1st. However, we recommend that you complete the intent to enroll prior to that by mid-March, specifically by March 15th, just because you need to have the intent to enroll completed to be able to fill out your housing pre-application and also to register for new student orientation, which new student orientation registration also opens up on March 15th, about 30 minutes after you'll be able to have access to your housing pre-application. And so that's kind of all things intent to enroll. But moving on from there, my next question is going to go to Rachel. Do all buildings have laundry?
Yes. All buildings have laundry, and laundry is actually free this year, which is really exciting. And also we have an app called Laundry View, which is kind of cool, which I actually didn't know about, but you can actually go on and you can see like when your laundry is done and if there's any like openings for washers and dryers too, which is really cool. So yes, you will have one usually like either one on like the first floor, the second floor. Every residence hall is a little bit different. And then for Suites and Lincoln, you'll have a laundry like unit in your actual unit. It won't be like on the floor or anything like that.
Thank you, Rachel. It looks like we have time for maybe a couple more questions. So the next one's going to go over to Callie. And this question is, how much renter insurance is required? And then does your decision on accepting the university's renter insurance have any bearing on the status of your application?
So renter's insurance is not required. We do highly recommend it, but it's not required, and there's no contingencies where we're looking to make sure that you've got that in order to assign you housing. So that's up to you how you want to do it. We just want to provide options for you. And the grad guard insurance is not actually a university partner. It's just something that we have found as a great resource to include in our application for students who are interested. So just as a ballpark, it costs about $12.15 a month, and it insures $5,000 worth of belongings within your unit. So just something to be mindful of as you're researching as a resource, but again, not required at all, and it won't impact your ability to get housing if you choose not to be insured with renter's insurance. It will mean that you are liable, though, for your belongings if there were to be any damage in the res halls.
Thank you, Callie. The next question is going to go to JT. And this question is, do you have a list of off-campus housing options for us to view, both on and off-campus options? Where can we find those?
So the easy answer is for on-campus options, there's our website, boisestate.edu/housing. And those are all the different options. For off-campus, let's say you decide not to live with us, no hard feelings, we still love you. But we have actually an off-campus housing marketplace that's available on our website, and there's a link on there. I can make sure that you have it. Not that difficult to find, but yes, we do have a site that is sponsored by Boise State and through a third-party company that allows you to search for off-campus housing providers. Those off-campus housing providers on that website have a bunch of different options, and while they're technically not ours, we try to make sure we have a good standing relationship with them to be able to provide the best housing for students, even if they choose not to live with us. And there's, opportunities to find roommates on that website if you don't live with us. And because like the roommate matching we have available is for if you are living in the office with us. Whereas if you find something else off campus, they have options to find roommates as well. And we try to put it in one easy to find location.
Awesome. Thank you, JT. The next question is, for me, what is new student orientation? That word group that I mentioned earlier. But basically, new student orientation is required for all of our incoming first-year students here at Boise State. And your orientation will happen in the summer before you join us on campus in the fall. We'll actually have 9 different sessions that you can choose from. You only have to choose one of these sessions, with dates kind of ranging as early as June through the end of July, early August. So there'll be 9 different options for you to choose from. And this is a 2-day orientation. And for an additional fee, you actually have the option to spend the night in one of our residence halls on campus during this orientation time. But basically, Your orientation is not only that first time where you're meeting your very first friends at Boise State. You get put into an orientation group and are assigned an orientation leader who is a current Boise State student who really kind of tells you a little bit more about student resources on campus, maybe does another campus tour for you so you can know where your maybe future classes are going to be held. But what's awesome about that new student orientation is that on the second day, you'll actually enroll for your fall semester courses. And so you'll be able to sit in a room, pick your classes that you're going to take during your very first semester at Boise State. And we'll actually have academic advisors floating around the room, helping you with choosing the classes you're going to take. So when you leave that new student orientation, you'll have your fall schedule in hand and you'll be able to buy all of your textbooks and get prepared for joining us on campus in August. But again, with that new student orientation registration, as long as you've had your intent to enroll filled out prior to that, you'll be able to access that registration on March 15th as well. Great question. Alrighty, the next question that I am going to pass it off to is Callie. And this question is, are housing costs per semester or per year?
Yeah, so we have our housing rates listed on our website, and those are listed per year. So you're welcome to take a look at that and kind of get a ballpark. Again, those are our proposed rates, so there might be a change, but we're expecting that it should be no higher than those rates listed on our website.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Callie. And I just want to have one clarification with that new student orientation as well. With our orientation programs, someone had asked, is this something that we need to apply for as soon as our pre-application is done on March 15th? And the answer to that is that you'll actually receive the link to sign up for your new student orientation about 30 minutes after you can access that housing pre-application. And so definitely if maybe you want to plan your summer vacations, or maybe you want to have a job this summer and be able to work around your orientation date, you can definitely access that. Again, for our Idaho students, you'll be able to access that new student orientation at 9:30 a.m. And then for our out-of-state students at 12:30, you'll be able to access that. And so definitely you could totally hop on that right away. But with our orientation, we'll release spaces in classes with each orientation. And so don't think that, oh, if I wait until the last orientation session of the summer, because that's the only one I can do, that we won't have any options for you. Our academic advisors, again, will work with you and make sure that you're excelling towards graduation, not kind of taking classes that don't kind of push you towards that degree. So great question there. But with that, we're right about at time. And so I want to thank you all so much for joining us tonight at our Next Steps housing presentation. Just a friendly reminder to please reach out to your admissions counselor as well as our housing team with any and all questions that you may have. Your admissions counselor, again, with those new student orientation questions, will be a great resource to contact. But again, thank you all so much for joining us tonight. And again, we're here to support you through all of those next steps of becoming a Bronco. So until then, good night and thank you again.